Today I thought I would speak about budgeting mistakes. We've all done them, we've all been there, and if anything, I'm going to talk about my own experiences and how I overcame my own mistakes in order to decrease the size of the budget needed for my travels and really just to make my money go a lot further, a lot longer. I have my little notebook here that I'm going to be using to write down everything that I talk about today, just to keep everything in check and make sure that I never ever repeat these mistakes ever again. Number one is not to have a budget at all. This one basically means that you're shooting in the dark. Is this trip going to cost you an arm or a leg, everything that you have saved up in the bank? Oh no, because we don't have a budget. Try to foresee a little bit your expenses and put some money aside, because you know how everyday life gets and many times we just spend. But if we don't have that budget in mind, the fact that we are going on a vacation or that we are planning to go on a vacation in 6 months or 7 months or maybe even next month, we're gonna end up without a lot of money to spend. Many times we might even cancel the whole vacation just because we did not foresee a budget for it. So clearly my advice is have a little money saved up every single month or every single week, depending how long until your trip. And pretty soon all those vacations that you've been meaning to take will find their place on your calendar. Second stop is not having a purpose for your budget. Now this is definitely something that has happened to me. I did put the money aside for a vacation that I wanted to take. However, when I got there, I just didn't get to live that one experience that I've been meaning to live because it was way too expensive, way too out of my price range, or I had not done enough research to know exactly how much budget I would need to allocate for this specific goal. I have a video talking about my 5 steps to plan a trip, so if you would like to see that one, I have linked it down below. And spoiler alert, the first step on this list is to have a purpose. Because once we decide where we want our budget to go, then we can tweak left and right to ensure that we get the best result. Number 3 is something that I do quite often, and I know I shouldn't. Not having budgeting categories. Always make categories. Imagine the following scenario. You are off on a 1-week vacation to Costa Rica and you have $1,000. That sounds pretty good for a budget, right? Wrong. Those $1,000 are for everything in your travel. Hotel, excursions, food, drinks. Now let's assume that your hotel alone will be about $600 for the whole week. Now let's assume that the really cool activity that you are going to Costa Rica for is about $200 in itself. When you start putting your budget into different categories, you'll realize that you only have $200 left for the whole week for food and drinks. Doesn't sound like such a great budget anymore, now does it? Putting your budget into different categories basically ensures that you will have enough foreseen for every single activity that you want to do. For example, if the whole purpose of your trip was to go scuba diving, you will make sure to have that one category that says scuba diving. Assuming that you do not pay your accommodation beforehand, then you have a category saying accommodation. Entertainment, concert, museums, Coachella. This little tip goes hand in hand with not mixing the categories from your budget. For example, if you have used all of your budget for shopping today and you see another really cute pair of boots, do not spend your food money on the boots. Do not spend food money on boots. And the big line under it. This will ensure that not only you don't go back and forth within your bank account, taking out of your savings and putting back into your checking account, and thus spending more money than you had originally foreseen, but it will also make sure that you don't miss out on some really awesome culinary experiences just because you allocated that budget somewhere else. Here's another one I have been guilty of. Guessing my total budget for the trip that I'm about to take. Should you tap right now the words travel vlog and then insert any location anywhere in the world, you will find at least 2 or 3 YouTubers that have been there and that can give their own personal perspective on the place. I do have a few videos like these. And I will insert links to them down below. But basically, you can find this information readily available to you on blogs, on Instagram, on Facebook, on your destination's official webpage. A higher or lower budget will depend on the kind of experience that you want to have, but our goal today is not necessarily to bring you to the cheapest option. It is to help you establish a budget that can easily serve your trip and that considerably reduces the amount of the unforeseen spending. Number 5, not packing your essentials. So this is something that I used to do quite often, and it was always under the premise that worries, I will be able to purchase that once I arrive at my destination. What if there is a shortage of this product? What if your flight is delayed and you really need this product as you are sitting waiting in the airport? Oh, no problem, surely I will find it somewhere. And then very often I don't. So what I'm talking about here are those small items that maybe you don't think are indispensable, but then it turns out you have a really huge sunburn because you did not bring your sunblock. And then guess what? There is no sunblock on the remote beach that you're about to visit. Or any other kind of migraine pills or pharmaceuticals. I know that many times luggage restrictions can determine whether we take something with us or not. And this is why I have made another video where I share all of my minimal packing tips for your carry-on. This way you don't run the risk of not finding your products as you are traveling away from home. Or if you do find them, you don't risk piercing a hole for your budget just to purchase them abroad. I would think the 6th one is a very good one. The 6th mistake that I will talk about today is not being prepared for unforeseen circumstances. Anything can happen at all times. Take all the precautionary measures just in case you have an accident, you like to practice some kind of dangerous sport, or even if you're the kind of person who just lays out in the sun all day without doing anything. Having insurance, having some savings in an account locked away somewhere that can only be accessed in case of emergency. This is going to be crucial if you become in any way incapacitated during your vacation. Now, of course, depending on the country where you live and work, you might have insurance already provided by your company, or you might have purchased this insurance yourself, or even when you purchase a certain vacation, you can go ahead and purchase an insurance just for this vacation only. So always have a contingency plan and always stay safe, not only for your budget, but also for your quality of life. And here we are, the final budgeting mistake that I have done so many times is not updating my budget. This is especially true for those of us who like to take the same vacation every single year to the same destination or to a similar destination to one where we typically go to, but we use the same budgeting rules as we have before. Now, this can work out great when things are cheaper than expected, although they rarely are. If you are going to Greece, for example, and you typically go to Athens, but this time you would like to go to Santorini. Aside from the budget that you allocate for your flight and your accommodation, there will be a lot of other varying budget factors for these two destinations, which are still in the same country. Transportation. In Athens, you will have very good, very efficient public transportation, which you will probably not find in Santorini. So then going to Santorini would probably mean that you would have to budget for a car. Even though it is still Greece, food in Athens is bound to be cheaper than food in Santorini, since it is a very luxurious, expensive island, and you'll probably not find the gyros on the street as you would in Athens. Getting yourself a quick lunch for about €5, you'll probably have to spend anywhere between 30 and 50 euro for a lunch in Santorini, which basically means about 10 times more for food in Santorini compared to Athens. So in order to update your budget, use the other steps that I have outlined in this video, and you will be sure not to be caught off guard by any prices that come your way. That is it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I have linked all videos that I told you about down below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you here next week.